Hey everyone, it is Clutch here from the Sodak motorcycle blog. Seeing how everyone's doing today. We're gonna get this one synced up. Trying out a new camera angle today. So we're gonna do Rochford Road today. Rochford Road, it is, I can't tell you what the county number it is. It's in Lawrence County, South Dakota. And it goes from Highway 85 down into the little tiny town of Rochford. And if you've never been to Rochford, there ain't much to Rochford. It's kind of an old hole in the wall. I think it's an old gold camp, kind of like everything is around here. So this is the road that goes to it. Nice little road. Now, I had previously recorded this video on Easter Sunday of 2021. The problem is when my hard drive died on me, well, that was one of the videos that went with it. So had to come up here and re-record. So that's what we're doing. We're re-recording. Where I left from, there's just a little parking lot. It's pretty close to Highway 85. And here we are. And it is kind of a road to nowhere. Like I said, it just goes to Rochford. That's it. And also, as far as paved roads goes, that's as far as the paved road part of it goes. And this is the only way to get there. There's also an old bar there that I think is still open. I don't know for sure. I haven't been in there for quite a long time. Actually, I think the last time I was in there was in 2005. Yep, 2005, when I was on leave from Iraq. The biggest thing I remember about the place is the bartender would not let me leave without a beer. I said, yeah, we're gonna head out. And she's like, you want one for the road? And it's like, kind of illegal. She's like, it's all good. No one will mess with you down here. Just take the beer. I'm like, okay, fine. She's like, just tell him he's in the army. We're like, okay, well, we'll try that. We'll see how that works. Well, needless to say, we took the beer, and I actually did drink it, open container, in the vehicle. And, well, my wife, who was my fiance at the time, just chose to drive very carefully. So, that's how that worked. One downfall here is, well, when we came through here, there was not road construction on it. Unfortunately, there is now. But it is Sunday, so hopefully we shouldn't get messed with too bad. By the way, it is Sunday, August, I think 29th. Yeah. But cool little road here. It kind of follows right around the path of the Mickelson Trail. I'm sure my camera's still kind of going there. And yeah. And for those of you who don't know what the Mickelson Trail is, it's an old railroad grade that ran between Edgemont, South Dakota and Deadwood, South Dakota, and they've converted it over to a hiking or a walking hiking path. So as you've already seen, one of the best qualities about this road is there's not a ton of traffic. I mean, there's actually a decent bit more than usual up here for a Sunday. But it's still not, it's not a ton of traffic because, of course, it only goes to Rochford and there isn't much in Rochford. So the road's kind of wide open in yours usually. Obviously, you're going to want to watch yourself on here because there does get to tend to be a bit of wildlife up here. And but otherwise, otherwise it's a good fun road. I'm sure a lot of you that have come through here from the Sturgis Rally know all about this road, because this is one of the busy times of the year up here is actually during the Sturgis Rally. Is, well, you put a bar in the middle of nowhere, or hell, you put a bar in general, set that up during rally, well, people will come to it. In fact, I'd say probably 3/4 of the bars you see that are here in the hills when you're here for rally, they're probably only open for rally. Because like I said, during rally you put up you get yourself a beer license and you start selling, you sell cans of beer out of the back of a pickup, you probably get a crowd there pretty quick. What can I say? It's kind of a way to a biker's soul, is give them some beer. That right there, over there, that's part of the railroad grade. One of those deals where they didn't know really what to do with the old railroad grade, so they decided, hey, let's build a bicycle trail on it, and it's been pretty successful. Pretty cool trail to walk on. I've done some walking on it. Parts of it we actually use for our OCS program for one of their 12-mile road march. We actually use the Mickelson Trail. So it's obviously the best road march of all that we have. And anybody who's been here for the accelerated OCS program or done our traditional OCS program will tell you it's exactly the same thing. Like it's one of the highlights of the OCS period. Few things to keep in mind up here. You're definitely a bit higher. You're probably, I'd say you're probably up, once you're up here, you're about that, you're probably over 4,500, I would guess. You're probably closer to 5, or maybe you might be even just above 5,000 feet up here. Which, if you live in like the Rocky Mountains or Colorado or New Mexico, something like that, yeah, that's not terribly high, but for South Dakota, it is pretty high. In fact, we have Black Elk Peak here, and it is just over 7,000 feet, and it's the highest. And it's the highest point between the Rocky Mountains and the Alps. So we're definitely higher out here than even the Appalachian Mountains. And you get to some beautiful country up here. I mean, just look at how beautiful it is up here. Beautiful, peaceful, quiet. Usually it's quite a bit cooler up here too. For example, last year we did our road march up here last September, and when we left we were down in Fort Meade there. When we left Fort Meade that morning, driving into Drill, it was 72 degrees at 3:30 in the morning. Just absolutely beautiful morning. And I was thinking, man, it's going to be a nice, beautiful day up there. It's probably a good thing we're getting up there and starting early, because it's going to get pretty hot pretty quick. Well, by the time we got up here, it was 45 degrees. And at the halfway point, it was 37 degrees. So it got cold in a hurry. And the reason I tell you that is if you do come up here, like there's some Airbnbs up here and such, and some campgrounds. If you do come stay up here, be prepared to have some chilly mornings, because it's just kind of part of the deal when you're up to around 5,000 feet. You have cold mornings, so bear that in mind. But the nice thing about that is on them super hot days, in the hills, generally it's not near as hot up here. It still gets pretty warm up here, but you know, if it's 100 degrees down in Sturgis, it might be 85 or 90 up here, so which that ain't so bad. Personally, I think it'd be kind of cool to live up here myself. The only downfall is we're quite a ways away from stuff. We're probably 25 miles from Spearfish. I mean, the closest town we are to is probably Lead in Deadwood, which Lead's about 10 miles away. The problem is most everyone has jobs in Rapid City around here, which from here to Rapid City, you're looking at, it's probably about 50 miles. And half of that 50 miles is coming up through, you know, through the hills, so it's not like a get on the expressway 50 miles. So, and if you're trying to get down and up, down out of the hills and back up in the hills during the wintertime, it can get quite treacherous up here, because this is definitely the snowiest part of South Dakota. Routinely, because of the geography of the way the Black Hills are. By the way, there's part of that trail right there. Like I said, it's an old railroad grade, so it's all like set out perfectly for a railroad. So you get up here, like I said, due to the way the Black Hills are, the way our kind of prevailing winds come in, basically we get a lot of snow enhancement up here with basically the upslip winds coming up the northern hills. So you very much will see, like, even places like Hill City might get a couple inches of a storm, and Lead in Deadwood may get 3 to 4 feet. And up here towards Rochford and towards O'Neill Pass, they might get 5 to 6 feet. I mean, it just dumps just tons of snow up here. In fact, you can usually peg how bad a snowstorm is up here by whether Lead Deadwood calls off school or not. Because it's funny, you'll get it down in Rapid City or so, you get 4 or 5 inches of snow. I mean, decent storm, kind of a nice, it kind of messes things up, but you know, not the end of the world. And they'll call off school, and you know, Lead Deadwood, they'll get a foot of snow, and 2 hours late, school's still on, you know. But they will call it off. Like there was that one time they got 7 feet within 4 days. Then they called it off because, well, their snow removal equipment couldn't keep up. So yeah, it's definitely cold and snowy up here in the wintertime. But I tell you what, if you could handle that, this would be an absolutely beautiful place to live, I think. Don't tune away just yet, because at the end we're going to have a special tour of Rochford, which I'm sure you're going to love, because like I said, there's a lot of stuff in Rochford. I mean, tons. So why haven't I featured this road yet? Well, part of it's I kind of just don't think about it. Like, Rochford Road here is really easy to forget about. In fact, to be honest with you, this year I've rode it twice. I think I think before that it'd probably been 5 or 6 years since the last time I actually rode my motorcycle up here. You know, you kind of forget about it. Partly because, well, it's at the end of the highway, which ain't necessarily a bad thing. It makes it for a better road. I know there's been some talk of paving the road that goes between Rochford and Hill City eventually. Or, well, the pavement don't stop in Hill City, but basically somewhere past Hill City, kind of around Deerfield Reservoir, is where the pavement runs out coming from Hill City. And there's been talk of paving that. I think it's the last 10 or 15 mile stretch, which I kind of hope they don't, because then this road's going to be busy as hell all the time too, and kind of don't want that. But it would be handy on a motorcycle, because it'd be a nice little cutter, or it'd be a nice little shortcut between Lead and between Lead, Deadwood, and Hill City, because then you could avoid like packed hole and all that. But the problem is well, it's just I think it would do more harm to the road than good, personally. But I guess just another excuse for me to buy one of those brand new Pan Americans, right? I wish. But like the hills would be a great little spot to have a bike like that, with the amount of gravel trails, gravel roads, old Forest Service trails we have around here. And not even terrible technical stuff, like just the straight up, just the Forest Service roads that are maintained around here. There's so many paths and Forest Service trails around here that it would be cool to take a ride on. And in fact, if you want to see some of those roads, if you check out Ask the Make by Fly's video, she did a video of her review of the, well, no, it wasn't a review, but it was of a ride she took the day before, and they did some rides up on the trails through the hills. That video gave a good idea of kind of some of what the hills look like when you go up on the trails off the pavement. Needless to say, some of that's not necessarily Goldwing friendly, or at least I don't think it's Goldwing friendly. Especially some of that way the holes are and stuff, you know. I already got to replace the fork seals on this anyway. I don't want to have to, you know, deal with it more and more, because I'm blowing them out all the time, some hidden holes and stuff. So I just don't feel like the Goldwing's very much a ADV vehicle by any means. It's 72 degrees right now, an absolutely beautiful day up here. So we've just passed over the county line from Lawrence County into Pennington County. And if you believe it, this is the far western reaches of Pennington County. Also the Badlands are in Pennington County, if you can believe that. So Pennington County takes up a whole lot of space. It's a very, very wide county, that's for sure. So yeah, the county goes from here all the way out to the Badlands, and we're probably, I'd say as the crow flies, we're probably, I'd say at least 80 miles from the Badlands. I'd say maybe even closer to 100. Let's put it this way. To get up here, we got off at exit 30 in Sturgis. And the exit for Wall in the Badlands is exit 110. So, now granted, there's a decent amount where the interstate turns north of Rapid City for the on the front of the Black Hills, but still, it's a heck of a jaunt out there. So here we are. We're in Rochford. There's the chapel. Hell yeah, there's the bar right there. Oh, it's the Irish Gulch now? Or no? Moonshine Gulch, that's what it is. Also the Rochford Mall. Rochford University. Another part of Rochford University. I mean, they're coming up in the world. I mean, they got university, they got 2 bars, although I think they're just the same bar. But yeah, that's good old Rochford right there. We're gonna go up here, we're gonna shut her down and call her a day. Because as you can see, the gravel road ends right up there. And I really don't feel like driving down gravel today. This right here is one of the Mickelson Trail trailheads. As you can see, it's popular with the bicyclists, as you can tell by all the bicycle racks on vehicles out here. And there we go. Alrighty, well, thank you for stopping by and checking out my favorite rides, Rochford Road. I'm Clutch from the Sodak Motorcycle Blog, and we'll see you next time.